Okay, welcome back in everybody. Hello to the YouTube guys as well. And welcome to another Pick Your Poison tournament cast, the event organized by Daniela, Komi, and their crew. Shout out to them for making it all happen. Today we're casting game number 1 of the series between Umdeuter and Sabalero, which is a pretty high elo series here, Group D. So I believe these guys were in the 1800s in terms of elo. I'm not 100% sure anymore what the exact elo numbers were. Anyways, this is game 1 of the series, but don't be fooled. We casted game 2 yesterday, and Umdeuter won that one. I don't know who won the first one yet, though. So let's check it out and see if Umdeuter closed the series out yesterday, or if Sabalero evened it up. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused there. Let's check it out either way. Umdeuter as the Khmer against Sabalero against the Byzantines. It's the 4th versus the 5th seed in round 1 here. Of course, bracket or group number D only has 8 players in it, I believe. So that's why we have the 4th versus 5th matchup in round 1. Byzantines versus Khmer. And we'll see how that one goes. Yeah, let's pull up the Civ stats then, shall we? We've got Umdeuter, who's up 1-0 in this series, or who will have been up 1-0. I don't know, we'll workshop those, we'll workshop that as we go along with the game. He's playing as the Khmer, very well-known Civ, many people dislike it. He's got a very open map at the front here, which you might not like, but luckily, with his Civ, he can jump into houses with those villagers, and it's never something that you want to do as Khmer, because it's still idle time, but in case an unexpected raid hits you, you're able to save 5 villagers per house. Of course, that's not the only bonus they have. They can farm without needing to drop off the food at town center or mill buildings. And also they're well known for their ballista elephants. Whenever I face them in the late game, and they get to that point where the 30 ballista elephants, the 40, the 50 are sniping me from all angles, there's just no unit I can find that's able to deal with that. So pretty powerful types of late game composition in any case. Another big bonus they have is that they don't need any buildings to advance to the next age, so that can provide for some very smooth fast castle builds or very early feudal age builds. In general, just makes it very easy to progress through the game quickly. On the other side, the Byzantines, as if that we've seen a bunch already in this tournament. That is Byzantines. Extra HP on buildings, cheaper trash units and camels. We've all heard it a million times at this point. Naval bonus is not relevant on Arabia, although there are some ponds here, so maybe if you want to go for fire ships here, there is some potential there. I wouldn't recommend it though. Sabalero here really will have needed that win, because with the game 2 loss, he's already back against the wall. Other than that, free town watch, town patrol, decent technologies, because as I've recently learned, actually putting in, inserting town watch rather early in your build is pretty good on almost all maps, because that vision is underrated and allows you to actually respond to any type of aggression from your opponent a little bit quicker. Yeah, that's pretty much all the relevant info. The cheaper advance to Imperial Age should also be mentioned, though quite akin to the Italians. But of course, for Byzantines, that bonus only comes in when advancing to the Imperial Age. Good then, Rebleg commenting that the Khmer bonus of the buildings, I guess, I think you're referring to the buildings not being required in order to age up. That's what you're saying. Feels like the equality in Civ 3. Oh, no, I think you're talking about the villages into houses, I guess. Being able to port your workers around, I guess, is what that refers to. I'm not sure. I don't quite see it yet, but maybe you'll be able to convince me. I'm not a huge Khmer fan either way, though, so might not be too enthusiastic about that one. Already up to the next age there for Umdeuter. 18 villager uptime. Looks pretty smooth. No idle TC time for him at all yet. He's got those houses near his wood line, so he's pretty safe as well. And There you can see he's got no mill, but he doesn't need one since he doesn't need those buildings in order to age up. The houses, yeah, I thought so. I thought so. A lot of mobility that nobody else pretty much has on their villages. So, guess that's kind of accurate. 1 minute between the uptimes here for both players. Byzantines with a 19 villager feudal age. Of course, the loom that he researched makes it so he's a little bit later than it would necessarily appear. And drops the barracks. Now still kind of hides what he wants to do, but really doesn't, because Umdeuter has just scouted, although he's now taking a lot of damage from that town center. Oh, he kind of prematurely ungarrisoned here. Might have been able to get another shot in, but Umdeuter was now able to scout that the opponent is not on gold yet. So that makes it very obvious that no archer play is going to come in. Maybe a two militia type play. But so far Sabalero not going in that direction. No military production just yet. And brings back the scout to kind of trade and chase away Umdeuter. Both players now in the feudal age. We've got stable coming up for Byzantines. Spearman already in queue, but sadly he's housed. And so the town center idle TC time ticks up simultaneously to the Khmer, who apparently also forgot queuing up there for a while. They already with another scout out on the map though, so a bit of an early advantage, and that wall is not going to go up before the scouts are in. 2 scouts, I usually say, aren't going to kill any villagers, but we're in pretty high elo play here, so honestly with their level of micro, they might be able to actually seriously threaten some villagers. Good quick walls here, minimalistic placement of those walls, able to save himself from the biggest part of that damage. Another salvo comes in from the town center, and that looked ridiculously high range, but it seemed to have hit, and thus the scouts pretty low already, and minimal defenses needed for Sabalero in order to be fine here. He needs this win. If he doesn't win this map, that means elimination from the tournament. Umdeuter really not under the same kind of pressure, so you know, there's potentially game 3 here if Sabalero is actually able to win this. You like scouts against Khmer is what you're saying. Interesting. Why do you like scouts against Khmer specifically, I wonder? Is it what makes archers bad against Khmer is just what I'm wondering, I guess. I wonder why he's still got those scouts at home though. Kinda maybe not knowing what to do with them at this point. And Umdeuter again with the scouts forward. I think they're just barely gonna miss each other. Umdeuter must have seen this. I'm not sure if Sabalero did. And yeah, he most certainly did, because that's a spearman coming out again right away. And that's 3 scouts into his eco, but he's got the preparation done. Good job walling those mills. Oh, I think the other side is open though. Oh man, why did he not see this coming? Poor guy, he now is losing villages for free pretty much. Oh, it's a lot of damage here in the eco. Luckily only 1 scout can hit at a time, and thus the spearman has enough time to get on over. Meanwhile the scouts on the other side able to pressure the Khmer, but also a bit distracted by his home front and not taking the best trades necessarily, as he's still getting hit at home. And scout wars continue. Actually, Umdeuter getting a really good trade here, and there was no attack stance for Sabalero, which cost him a lot here. Oh, that's such unfortunate trading here, and really only able to keep that 1 scout alive, barely. That was another victory here for Umdeuter in my books. He's kind of pulling ahead here a little bit. Not really in eco, but he's getting the better micro trades. He's now put up the range, and actually a blacksmith as well, so he's gonna go into archers, it would appear. 4 villagers on gold. On the other side, the Byzantines now also transitioning on over to gold, but it doesn't look like they necessarily want to go for archers or skirmishers, for that matter, because no range up just yet. Maybe expecting Umdeuter to remain with the scouts, judging by the amount of spearmen. Now, having lost that last remaining scout, he's kind of making it a bit too easy for his opponent, but I also like the activity from Umdeuter. He's been all over the map with those scouts already, and Sabalero really not been able to find a whole lot. The eco KD is still 1-0, so it's not like anybody did some massive damage here, but at least Sabalero found out about the archer and the range, so it might give him a heads up to put up his own archery range at home. And we see the immediate reaction. Good job there. We can immediately tell us this is higher level play than I am used to, both from my own games, but also from the last couple of casts on the stream. Well, we'll see how this develops, but I kind of feel like, and that's it's kind of the feeling I got yesterday as well, Umdeuter seemed a bit more calm and calculated actually with his plans when the games got hectic. So let's see if Sabalero can keep up the pace here and keep responding nicely. He's got that range. I wonder why there's no skirmisher production yet, and that's the answer. It's because he's going up to Castle Age already. Umdeuter's gonna follow very soon, but a second range comes up for Sabalero. He really knows, okay, he's gonna need some units now. Maybe a few more spearmen. He already has 3. I wonder where they are at. They're patrolling at the front here. He's not bringing them back just yet, and that palisade is gonna die somewhat soon. Remember, it's a Byzantine palisade though, so there's extra HP on it. Castle Age in within 1.5-ish minutes. About 40 seconds ahead of the opponent. Second range coming up now. Archers actually being made, curiously. Interesting. I would have expected some skirmish, but since the opponent isn't showing a lot of archers, maybe you don't need to actually go into skirmishes yourself. I wonder if that's the correct response. Gets a few pokes in there from the spearmen. Gotta be happy with that, and that building HP from the Byzantines, it's gonna be even more once Castle Age comes in. Puts up a tower on his goal just to make sure that the archers cannot harass that. And I think he's going to be fine with that. It feels a bit premature. I'm not sure you actually need a tower to go up there if you're making archers out of 2 ranges, right? Because those archers could easily take out the enemy archers. Even, well, yeah, you also have fletching yourself, so you're not even at attack disadvantage. Feels like that was a bit of a premature tower for my liking. Especially against just 3 enemy archers. I feel like Umdeuter is happy with that trade. You can see another 25 HP going onto those palisades now. Castle Age is in, and crossbow upgrade comes through for the Byzantines. Alright. Man. Let's see how he can trade. He's sending 3 archers forward there. Good micro so far. Nobody taking a lot of damage, but the scouts are in now. Where's the spearmen? They're still patrolling outside. I wonder what the rationale is here. Crossbowman upgrade is in for Sabalero, but he's losing a villager there, and I think there really was no need for that. He just brought the spearmen home in time. Those scouts wouldn't have done any damage, and he's not putting up a house wall in time in the north here. I hate to see it, but that's just... He's making it again. He's making it a bit too easy. Those scouts are getting more value than they should be getting at this point. 3 crossbowmen doing the best here. 2 more still not being utilized. Sabalero, man, the poor man, he's got all the answers. He's just not utilizing them is my feeling here. At least he's able to take out a few enemy units there, but 5 more villagers dying during this raid is really not a good sign there. Knight coming out from the Khmer here, nothing out of the ordinary. And yeah, thanks for pointing out. If the enemy skips barracks, then scouts can have a much bigger impact than they usually do. That's a good point. Let's see, we're all learning from each other here, which is perfect. Alright, let's see if Sabalero can stabilize a bit here. And speaking of stabilizing, he's going to utilize those stables and make some camels, I hope, because the transition into knights from the Khmer is both expected and now visible for Sabalero. So with the cheap camels, remember, that's one of the Byzantines' bonuses, you can actually afford to just make a bunch of camels. You don't even need to fully upgrade them, but depending on how many knights the opponent goes, that can be a very cost-effective counter unit there to secure yourself. Still though, these Byzantine walls are very conservative. They've got their main stone in there, their main gold, but that's it. 2 wood lines even, only. So he's gonna need to expand a little bit at least, sometime soon. I mean, he's got the cheaper up to imp in terms of resources, so I guess he's able to get there, but at some point he's gonna need to actually branch out, maybe drop a castle on his resources. I'm not sure he's gonna have the map control required to actually do that though, because Umdeuter still with a lot of knights out here that currently Sabalero doesn't have an answer to. No pikeman upgrade for the spearman, just 1 camel. He's really working with minimal counter units here, and instead prefers to stack up those crossbows even more. Man, you're absolutely right. Umdeuter with the triple TC boom behind all of this, absolutely taken off there in terms of villager numbers. 20 villagers more already, and I'm not sure really what Sabalero is getting in return for this. I don't see it at this point. He's spending a lot of gold on crossbowmen that he's not able to utilize for now. Scorpions coming out. Wow, that's an interesting one. I mean, Khmer, remember, +1 range on scorpions. Also a bonus insanity with the ballista elephants. I wonder what that is against. Maybe he's expecting a pikeman response against the knights. So in anticipation of that, scorpion makes sense. Able to also push the villagers back from the wood line, and would be able to deny that stone as well, but Sabalero not even on that just yet, and he's even laming it himself, so he's not looking to even pick up any of that, and that tower is really costing him, you can see. That's why I criticize the tower, because you can't put up any more TCs without grabbing extra stone. If you put up a tower like that, he doesn't even have a university yet, so he doesn't have ballistics on those crossbows. No ballistics on crossbowmen means they're pretty much useless against knights. At least that's how I like to put it, a bit over dramatic, but it's kind of true. He's now up to imp, Sabalero is, and I would love to see ballistics come in soon as well. Is 300 wood tech, so I can't just afford that easily. Putting up a second mining camp on the gold. I mean, he is stable, but he just doesn't have much rest to go here. And that's the only gold that he's got within his walls, and it's 5,500. He is Byzantines. He's thriving on trash and cheaper camels, so I guess that might suffice for quite a while. But if your main unit is crossbowmen, arbalest, whatever, bit sketchy there with 5,000 gold left over. He's grabbing ballistics now on the way up. I like to see that, but he's down 35 villages, and he doesn't have any map control, so this is kind of an all-in for him right now. He doesn't have a scary military force that would justify doing such an all-in, I think. I mean, the best bet, I guess, is getting up to imp, getting arbalests immediately, trying to push out. You can't even drop a castle anywhere, though, to consolidate position and start trapping away at the enemy, so I don't think this plan that he's got has got any long-term contingency. Mangonel now making it super difficult to actually use those crossbows. Maybe with Bracer and the Arbalest he can outrange and play around that Mangonel, but really, kind of a hopeless spot there once he arrives at Imp. And I think Umdeuter knows this, because he knows the enemy has not left his base. He knows he's 1300 score up, and he's just camping in front there. And although not accomplishing a whole lot right now, he doesn't need to push if he's at the same time booming away in at home in terms of eco. He's taking this nice and slow, and Sabalero is slowly running out of time here. Even with the idle town center right now. You hate to see it. Getting attacked from that sneaky scorpion down here in the south. Man, that is a audacious move there, really. Bad guy there. Ends up getting taken out though. Oh, look at the crossbowmen. Okay, they're trying to get on forward there. Byzantines also with the faster healing monks, I believe. Isn't that true? But yeah, it's not gonna do him all that much a favor. He's trying to take out the enemy scorpions, but Well, I don't even think Umdeuter really needed those. That was just in case the enemy had a lot of pikemen, I assume. And the knights now tanking that arbalest fire. I'm not sure he really needs to take this. I think he's all good backing off a little bit here and letting the arbalists come forward. The siege workshop as well. Now, Sabalero knows he needs to make this push count, but he barely has any resources to make anything of that siege workshop. And once Umdeuter hits him, he's just going to have access to the same tools as Sabalero, but with a much better eco behind it. Thus, it looks like he's in a really good spot to close this one out. Last stand for Sabalero in this tournament here. Can he make some magic happen? Able to kill the monk off at least. Holding on to his arbalest numbers. And trying to now harass a bit. Punches his way in there. He's got to be careful though. He's already seen mangonels and scorpions from the opponent. So all of these arbalests really not in a secure spot here, trying to dive underneath the enemy, but you can see that is what desperation does to a man. He's got to go forward and try to do any damage he can, and Umdeuter just keeping his knights right there. He's, I assume, just waiting for his upgrades and is then ready to crush the arbalests if Sabalero forces him to. As long as he doesn't need to take those fights, he won't do it though, I don't think, because why not just wait it out and keep ballooning the lead that you already have. Twice the villagers. Oh, it's a suffocating position really to be in. Another scorpion pops out. Takes half of the HP of that stack away, roughly speaking. And still, no branching out from the Khmer, or from the Byzantines rather. No other town centers, no castles. No resources secured for him. And imp is imp for the Khmer. What's Sabalero's response gonna be? I assume more desperation. He's trying to get forward to find any villages he can hit. Cavalier, scale barding, or plate barding rather, coming in for Umdeuter now. I'm just waiting for this force to get routed. Mainly that's what I want to see out of this game. Is I want to see like a juicy mangonel shot felling 15 arbalests or something. That would be the dream. Oops, let's see. Bombard cannon out of Sabalero, so that's what he's trying to push with now. Has an enemy caster going up in his face, but is able to snipe a lot of villages from it. Trading in the south as well, but losing a few arbalests there. Alright, so I mean he got something out of that, but he's also lost a bunch of units. It looks like maybe 6 arbalests or something went down there. And those knights are now about ready to crush him. But again, Umdeuter not taking any trades that he doesn't need to. Finally, another town center has come out for Sabalero, but that's it for him. He's at his wit's end here. Couldn't manage, sadly, to deal with the knight mass here. And from the get-go, really, it's been Umdeuter just slightly pulling ahead with every passing minute. And really didn't even have to do a whole lot in order to actually win in the end. Was just making it clear to his opponent that he had been too far ahead at this point already. Okay, another quick 2-0 series here this time around for Umdeuter in bracket D over Sabalero. A 4th versus 5th seed battle, sadly not as close as the seed numbers would suggest, but still a fun one to follow along. Congrats to Umdeuter for advancing, and thanks for the participation here from Sabalero. I think that's going to be it for the casting for today. Don't think there's any more live games to spectate, and I think I'm about done with what's for today as well. But it's going to be some more fun casting streams coming up in the next couple of days as well, of course. Alright, that being said, thanks for watching. I'll cut the stream for the YouTube guys here. If you still want to play a bit rap, we can do that, and maybe can just yeah, keep streaming that 1v1 or not. I'll see about that. But to everybody else watching for the cast, I'll see you guys for the next games, whenever that will be.